Brock Lesnar is facing Gunther at WrestleMania 42. The best and worst of WWE Raw. WWE is holding Liv Morgan back. Something is wrong. Maxxine Dupri wardrobe botch on WWE Raw. Randy Orton breaks silence on missing John Cena's last match. LA Knight is seriously injured and is gone from Raw indefinitely. The WWE wanted Donald Trump at SNME. Another wrestling legend retires after John Cena. Cody Rhodes called out over crying during John Cena's retirement. Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE Raw. The latest episode of Raw emanated from Hershey, Pennsylvania, featuring several big matches and segments. However, the air was filled with melancholy, as fans were still processing the emotional fallout of John Cena's retirement. With everything going on, the company made sure to deliver a great show that could stir fans' excitement towards the product. Triple H has been on the fans' radar lately due to the degrading quality of the shows and the lack of substantial content. Amid the wave of criticisms and backlash, the game has managed to give fans an exciting show this week. Whether it was revealing the identity of the masked man or building a duo strong, the creative team made some good decisions. Let's look at the best and worst of WWE Raw. Number 1, the best. The Kabuki Warriors making a statement. Asuka and Kairi Sane are the current women's tag team champions in WWE. Despite that, they were struggling to stand out in the crowded women's division and were apparently lost in the shuffle. However, this week on Raw, the Kabuki Warriors made a bold statement by unleashing a brutal beatdown on Rhea Ripley and Sky. They took out the babyface duo, prompting Ripley and Sky to retreat. This was the need of the hour, as Asuka and Kairi Sane desperately needed to make a bold statement. Showcasing the Kabuki Warriors' dominance on the show was a great decision and was the perfect way for them to regain their lost momentum ahead of their upcoming title defense. Number 2, the worst. A historic yet predictable outcome on Raw. Both the New Day and the Usos stepped up to World Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee after they beat the War Raiders last week. It facilitated an unofficial number 1 contenders match between the two longtime rivals. While it's great for nostalgia, the reality of the situation takes some of the excitement away. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have lost their last 2 matches, including to Styles and Lee on December 1st. The Uso reunited as a tag team last week. The two teams are on different sides of the mountain, so the outcome was a foregone conclusion. Number 3, the best. Gunther opening Monday Night Raw. Gunther became the most hated person among the WWE universe after retiring John Cena at Saturday night's main event. Just when fans were hardly recovering from the emotional turmoil of Cena's departure, the Ring General's theme song echoed in the arena as the opening act of Monday Night Raw. This added salt to fans' wounds. The hostile crowd erupted in a chorus of boos, yet Gunther delivered a menacing promo to irk the fans more. Triple H did the right thing by letting the Austrian open the show, as it was the perfect way to capitalize on the heat and the current situation. WWE used this as an opportunity to make the 38-year-old a monstrous heel in the company. Number 4, the worst. Sky and Rhea Ripley are the default number 1 contenders. Sky and Rhea Ripley will challenge the Kabuki Warriors for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the January 5th edition of Raw on Netflix. It seems that the duo is the default number 1 contenders because they didn't earn the shot. All that happened included both Alexa Bliss and Sky getting wins over Kairi Sane. The match between Ripley/Sky and Bliss/Flair ended in disqualification due to interference from Asuka and Sane, as well as Lash legend and Nia Jax. It's no secret that officials want to put a title on Mommy again due to her top star status, but at least book an actual tag team victory to justify it. Number 5, the best. Women's World title match ending in disqualification. This week on Raw, Raquel Rodriguez battled Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. During the final moments of this bout, Nikki Bella showed up out of nowhere and attacked both superstars. As a result, the high-stakes title match ended in a disqualification. Staging such an outcome was indeed the right call by Triple H. This was a match where neither Vaquer nor Rodriguez could have afforded a loss, and WWE needed a way to evade this situation. Also, Nikki Bella had a score to settle with both superstars, and therefore, her involvement made perfect sense. The match ending in disqualification could now lead to a 3-way feud for the Women's World Championship on Raw. Number 6, the worst. So much for a new era after Saturday night's main event. Triple H keeps claiming before every episode of Raw and SmackDown that what will happen on each show will mark a new era for WWE. That couldn't be further from the truth on the latest show. Every match featured sides that had battled before. The Usos and New Day have faced each other 16 times with titles on the line. It wasn't exactly a new pairing. Maxxine Dupri reignited her feud with former friend Ivy Nile. Rhea Ripley will face Asuka next week. 2 of Stephanie Vaquer's 3 title defenses have come against Raquel Rodriguez. Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio clashed in the main event. The Maverick took the United States Championship from Mysterio 2 years ago. They also faced off for a spot in this year's Elimination Chamber match. Number 7, the best. Revealing the mystery masked assailant on Raw. Mystery loses its mystique if it remains esoteric for long. Ever since Survivor Series, WWE has been building suspense around who the masked man could be who attacked CM Punk. Speculations and theories have been spilling out way too much, but Triple H put an end to that this week. WWE finally revealed the identity of the masked assailant. Revealing the mystery man was the right move, as dragging it further could have eroded fans' interest in this storyline. A little mystery can spark curiosity and interest, but if it's prolonged, it can lead to disengagement. Triple H apparently understood this and hit the iron when it's hit. Now that the mystery has been unveiled, it has added a fresh excitement among fans. WWE is holding Liv Morgan back. Something is wrong. Liv Morgan is one of the biggest stars in the WWE women's division. She is a performer who combines charisma, athleticism, and storytelling in a way that few others can match. After returning from a shoulder injury at Survivor Series last month, fans expected Morgan to hit the ground running and reclaim her spot at the top of the women's division. However, her booking has not been that way. Ever since her return, the Miracle Kid has been working as a leader, pulling strings of the Judgment Day. However, her actual in-ring time has been strikingly limited. Liv Morgan has only been featured in backstage segments or mere involvement at ringside instead of being the main highlight. For a superstar of her caliber, this feels like a step sideways, if not backward. What added more to this was Morgan's apathy towards her stablemate this week on Raw. Raquel Rodriguez was ambushed by Nikki Bella on Raw during her Women's World Championship match. At a time when Morgan should have rushed to the ring to help her friend, she was nowhere to be seen. Her absence was glaring and tells that something is definitely wrong. WWE could be holding the former Women's World Champion back. The optimistic view is that the company may be slowly building Liv Morgan toward a massive Women's Royal Rumble 2026 victory. The creative team could be setting her up for a major match for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 42, where she finally dethrones Stephanie Baker. But the pessimistic and perhaps the more realistic interpretation is that Morgan is being positioned as a mastermind rather than the undisputed top star. With Raquel Rodriguez getting world title opportunities and newcomers like Roxanne Perez benefiting from her interference, it feels like Liv Morgan is being used to elevate others at the expense of her own momentum. Liv Morgan's return has reinvigorated the Judgment Day, which was once struggling with internal conflicts. All the members of the faction are now getting along and on the same page. Amid this existing harmony, a subtle yet alarming problem seems to be brewing each week. WWE is teasing a major betrayal. Raquel Rodriguez and the Miracle Kid could soon be on two different sides of the shore, as there appears to be an underlying tension between them. It traces back to Big Mommy Cool's aggressive push toward the Women's World Championship. Ever since Rodriguez went after the title, things have been a little tense. Although Liv Morgan has been acting normal, it does not look like she actually is. Her change of expressions after Raquel Rodriguez leaves the scene, and her sarcasm-coated words indicate that things are not right between the two friends. The 31-year-old seems to be harboring a deep resentment due to Rodriguez overpassing her, taking away opportunities. Therefore, it could be a matter of time before Morgan backstabs Big Mommy Cool and removes the latter from her path. The Miracle Kid has a history of exacting revenge on what she thinks is wrong. Hence, it will be interesting to see how things shape up between the Judgment Day members. Maxxine Dupri wardrobe botch on WWE Raw. Maxxine Dupri had an unfortunate incident on WWE Raw this week, resulting in a wardrobe mishap. However, she acted very quickly. Maxxine Dupri faced Ivy Nile on this week's episode of WWE Raw. Over the last few weeks, she has been preparing for the match and going through training to start a very new version of herself, one that is more hard-hitting and also better in the ring. Dupri has not always been the strongest performer in the ring, but that has now changed thanks to her training with Natalya. The star has not always been able to showcase her skills, but that has now changed. She is the current Intercontinental Champion, while also bringing out a new side of herself. She won tonight's match, but at the same time, she faced a major issue towards the end. The star had been dropped and was going for the ankle lock on Nile. Unfortunately, during this move, she was dropped again and fell on her chest. As she was coming up, her top had a mishap, slipping down further than it should have due to the impact. However, with quick thinking, Maxxine was able to adjust it and brought it back to the correct position before she stood up, protecting herself from the camera. Her quick thinking saved WWE, as they did not have to black out a portion of the broadcast. Maxxine has shown that she can do what it takes on Raw and has already defeated a challenger. Now, with Natalya potentially coming out on her side in the future, she will be a force to be reckoned with. It remains to be seen who Triple H pairs her against next. Randy Orton breaks silence on missing John Cena's last match. John Cena received a farewell fitting of his stature at SNME 2025. If there was something amiss, it was the presence of his longtime on-screen rival, Randy Orton. A couple of days after the retirement, the Viper has now posted, sharing his respects for Cena and explaining why he couldn't appear in person. Cena and Orton have raised a generation of fans who grew up watching the two men battle it out over the years. While they did revisit their rivalry at Backlash 2025, albeit with roles reversed, Randy Orton's absence from the final days of John Cena's retirement tour, including at SNME 2025, left many dejected. The Viper has now come forward with an Instagram post detailing the real reason for his absence from last week's event. In the statement, the veteran star reflected on his history with Cena and explained that while in Saudi Arabia promoting Royal Rumble 2026, he was unable to attend the show. I broke into the wrestling business and grew up for the past 2 decades alongside John Cena, wrestled with or against him 100 times at least. I would have enjoyed being there in DC for WWE SNME and witness his emotional send-off into retirement, but I know if anyone understands my absence, it's John, because I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia KSA promoting Riyadh season and Royal Rumble, wrote Orton. He also added that he had exchanged messages with Cena on the day of his retirement and that he was rooting for him as he made a full-time transition to acting. Furthermore, Randy Orton wrote about John Cena's influence on the industry, saying he was lucky to witness his journey from such proximity. The morning of his retirement, we exchanged a few texts, and I was honored to speak with him on such a big day. I look forward to following John's career in Hollywood and beyond. Sky's the limit with this guy, an inspiration not only to generations of fans, but to myself, who was lucky enough enough to learn firsthand from one of the most over wrestlers ever. Thanks for being so good to my family over the years, and thanks for making the locker room a better place. Take care, John, and I'll see you around, he wrote. While he has quit in-ring action, reports have suggested that Cena is still expected to stick around and make occasional appearances in a non-wrestling capacity. LA Knight is seriously injured and is gone from Raw indefinitely. WWE has officially announced that LA Knight has suffered a serious injury and will be gone from Raw indefinitely. Details of the damage have now come out. Last week, Knight lost a match thanks to interference from the Vision. He was beaten down again and again, making it clear that the fact that he had chosen to stand up to them was something that they were taking very personally. He was taken to the back, but still dared to get up, and they did not accept that. They decided to punish him further and continued to beat him up. Bronson Reed took it too far, with Logan Paul putting him on the roof of a car, and then Reed jumping off the top of a crate to demolish him with the tsunami. Unfortunately, he needed to be taken to the ambulance and rushed to the hospital immediately after that. He is injured now. Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore confirmed the injury as well, announcing tonight officially that the star had suffered several injuries, but the most severe of which was a cracked sternum. Yeah, here's the medical update. LA Knight suffered a number of injuries, the most serious of which was a cracked sternum, which is going to put LA Knight on the shelf indefinitely. Knight, we wish you the best. Get well soon. Tessitore said the star would be out indefinitely because of what had happened. Get well soon. The megastar out indefinitely based on what happened. The star will likely be missing the rest of the year's shows, as well as a good part of the start of next year. It remains to be seen when he returns to the ring again. The WWE wanted Donald Trump at SNME. Before Saturday night's main event, one of the rumored names making an appearance at John Cena's final match was United States President Donald Trump. However, the POTUS was absent, and the latest report has revealed the possible reason for it. There were a lot of rumors about Trump possibly attending Cena's final match, especially since it was held at the Capital One Center in Washington, D.C. The show has come and gone, but the WWE Hall of Famer was nowhere in sight. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE reportedly wanted Donald Trump at SNME. The POTUS was at the Army vs. Navy college football game early Saturday and had time to attend John Cena's retirement match. However, the 79-year-old president decided not to go to the show. He'll likely be in attendance for a different TKO event next year at the UFC White House. UFC is set to have an event at the home of the U.S. president on June 14, 2026. In addition to Trump, some of the big names missing from John Cena's retirement event include Vince McMahon, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns. Despite the absence of Donald Trump, some members of his administration were in attendance at Saturday night's main event. Former WWE President and CEO Linda McMahon was reportedly backstage. As reported by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, McMahon is the current Secretary of Education. Two more figures at SNME were Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick and Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr. WWE has an outstanding relationship with Trump. Chief Content Officer Triple H recently helped reintroduce the presidential fitness test. The game was with the POTUS when he signed the executive order in August. Another wrestling legend retires after John Cena. A 62-year-old wrestling legend has now retired after John Cena decided to end his career. The star brought his career to a close on the same day as the 17-time WWE World Champion, at the same time as when Cena was wrestling his last ever match and creating unbelievable controversy by tapping out to Gunther with an ambiguous smile on his face. In another part of North America, El Hijo del Santo was wrestling his own last match in Mexico City. In the Face Palacio de los Deportes, the star wrestled his last match as he teamed up with LA Park and Ultimo Dragon to defeat Texano Jr., Dr. Wagner Jr., and Hijo del Fishman. Even though it was his last match before retirement, the star won his bout decisively, with his team picking up the win, contrary to what happened with Gunther and John Cena on the same day elsewhere. The news was broken earlier when El Hijo del Santo had announced that this would be his retirement match, and now has been covered extensively as well. Don't cry. Thus bids farewell El Hijo del Santo. The legend of Mexican wrestling retires from the rings, leaving his legacy and that of his father on the highest note. Today, we witness pure history. Del Santo is known for following the footsteps of his father, El Santo, in the ring and outside it. He is a true legend and has even made many movie appearances over the course of his career. The star wrestled over the last 4 decades, beginning his career back in 1982. With more than 40 years of performing, he is leaving a lasting legacy in the world of luchadors. His legacy will continue with his son, as he became a wrestler and started to wrestle under the name El Santo Jr. It remains to be seen what the star does next. Cody Rhodes called out over crying during John Cena's retirement. Cody Rhodes has been called out by his arch rival and WWE superstar Drew McIntyre after having an emotional moment during John Cena's retirement. Cena retired on December 13th at Saturday night's main event, with a loss to Gunther. He tapped out in his final match and was greeted in the ring by Rhodes and CM Punk. Rhodes, who broke down into tears after Cena's final match, was on the receiving end of criticism, courtesy of McIntyre. On X, the Scotsman took shots at the American Nightmare. Is there a camera rolling? Yeah? Okay, just stay on me here, wrote McIntyre. Drew McIntyre opened up about not getting the chance to face John Cena during his retirement tour. He broke character to praise Cena and how he stepped up into the position to be the company's top star. Speaking to ESPN, McIntyre said the following, "I mean, he's meant everything to our industry. When The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, left WWE, the top superstars of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, were at the end of their career. The company and the world needed somebody to step up into that top position. John stepped up in a massive way for multiple generations, and it's insane to say that he's about to have his last couple of matches. I'm sad I didn't get one of them, but I'm glad I'm part of the roster. I'm glad I got to travel the world. I'm glad I got to learn from John Cena because he is a legend, and he may just be the GOAT." McIntyre was attacked in his home by Cody Rhodes after returning at Saturday night's main event. The Scotsman is next in line for a shot at Rhodes' title. Seth Rollins, amid his absence due to injury, made an appearance on Games with Names. While speaking about Rhodes' return to WWE, the former World Heavyweight Champion noted that he did not know about it until the middle of March. He had been gone for 6 years. "When did I find out about this? I do Royal Rumble. I wrestled Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. After that, there were some conversations about matches. I would say I didn't know about Cody for sure until the middle of March," Rollins said. Seth Rollins added that there were still doubts about whether Cody Rhodes was officially coming back even 2 weeks before the show of shows. He added that it was a well-kept secret backstage. "I would say WrestleMania is in April, and so we had maybe a month of lead time knowing Cody was for sure coming. And even till the 2 weeks before, I remember being like, do we have his signature on a piece of paper? Do we know this is what we're going to do?" And it was very top secret. There were very few people that knew about what was going on, Rollins added. Brock Lesnar is facing Gunther at WrestleMania 42. Brock Lesnar is officially confirmed for WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas next year. An update on his potential opponent for the Showcase of the Immortals has come to the fore. The Beast defied his age upon his return this summer and proved why he's one of the most feared men in all of pro wrestling. The 48-year-old stalwart destroyed John Cena and helped the Vision win the Men's War Games match at Survivor Series this year. Lesnar hasn't been seen on TV since late November, but he is reportedly expected to be a huge factor heading into the show of shows. Brock Lesnar last wrestled on the grandest stage of them all over 2 years ago, defeating Omos in a singles match. Bodyslam.net previously reported that Braun Breaker's name was thrown around backstage as a possible opponent for Brock Lesnar, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, now that the Vision member is going after CM Punk's WWE World Heavyweight Championship. According to Self-Made Session, former Intercontinental Champion and the man who retired John Cena, is slated to face the alpha male of our species at WrestleMania next year. Gunther is definitely working Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Ibu admitted that the original plans were Breaker versus Lesnar for the show of shows. It was originally going to be Braun and Brock, but now that Braun Breaker is going to get a title match, Brock is probably facing Gunther. Gunther has been riding high since making John Cena tap out in his last ever match at Saturday night's main event. The Cenation leader previously hinted that WWE is building the Beast for someone to conquer him when he rides off into the sunset at SummerSlam next year. The biggest party of the summer will take place in his home state of Minnesota. Dave Meltzer reported that Lesnar could end his in-ring career in 2026. WRKD Wrestling fueled the speculation by posting a throwback picture of a face-off between Lesnar and Gunther from the 2023 Royal Rumble match. Is the ring general going to kill the legend of the Beast? Only time will tell.